Hi, I'm Richard Burns, and thanks for coming to Intheflow, the channel for spiritual beings about spiritual beings. All of our episodes are embedded with transformational energy. Thus, as you watch, you can receive healing energy.
I am Fran Wolf. I am a medicine woman shaman. I am a healer. I first realized before the age of 10 that I saw and knew things that others didn't. I remember an incident when I said to a childhood friend that, you know, that light you see around people, and she looked at me and she said, "What light?" I got curious then and began to ask people, that light, do you see this? Do you know this? And most people said, I have no idea what you're talking about. So I realized that I was seeing and knowing things that others did not. When I was a child, of course, we had animals, and I would always feel it from them more than the people around me. Is that I always instinctually wanted to keep them safe, and if they were hurting, I couldn't stand any pain or hurt to them. So that was I would say that was the first conscious knowing of that. Spirit gives the force of life to every body, every human, to all. Spirit can go from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime, and so there is accumulated knowledge within spirit. So when I was born, spirit within me brought this child in with more conscious knowledge than many people are born. So what I knew was instinctual, natural, as it would be as natural as breathing. The spirit within me has had many lives. So the knowledge that came with me instinctually when I was born into this life wasn't all conscious, but it was intuitive. So spirit had already come into this life more awakened. And with the accumulated knowledge, library, if you will, of within that spirit has within, I always knew, I always saw what others didn't. And that was from the accumulated knowledge of lifetime into this current day. When I got out of school and got into life and began to work and, you know, what people usually do, I began to realize that there are many in the world that just didn't understand anything except their own selves. So I had to look to that, and it began to elicit unfinished business in me, shadow business, or shadows that unresolved issues. So I started to look into different places to find ways to do that. Some led me into dark, shadowy places, others did not. Always, though, I was seeking teachers to help me understand why I knew what I knew. How is it that I could know what I know? No one taught me this. I never went to school for this. I never read a book. Why do I know what I know? And why is it that what I know actually turns out to be? And that began me looking in many places for teachers, for answers. What I found out is that I didn't have to. That the light was always within me, and that to seek out those who were offering something that wasn't real was nothing, was an illusion, and found my way out. So the teachers, even they were teachers in their own way, and showing, yeah, shadow isn't the way to go. Darkness has many different meanings. It can be the Hollywood version that makes everything terrible. Or it can just simply mean that there is light within a person that's buried by old stories, by old beliefs, by many things. And that actually is what, when I speak about darkness, that's what I mean. And it's bringing that unrevealed light out of being buried so it can shine. When I first see a client, the first thing that I do, and this is capital S, see them, because I'm reading their energetics. So what they came in for, I know is the result of what's really out of an intact state within them. So they talk. I ask them to just talk and to bring out whatever they want to bring out, because I'm following those energetics. And while that person is talking, that is their first bit of light that's shining. The more they talk, more light begins to expand. So more is revealed. And the more that they begin to trust themselves, the more light is shown and more of their energetics can be seen. And that's where clearing work can begin. They don't realize that they're much more than the stories of their lives would have them believe. That they're hooked into what they were told they were, or to experiences of life, and that they identify with those engagements rather than seeing the full picture of it. That this happened because of that person. And to help them to go beyond that, you don't be stuck in your story. Put the story aside. Now what do you see? And once they can do that, I'm going to tell you, I say to people when they come into this work, it's as simple or as difficult as you make it. Simple if you get out of your way, difficult if you don't. And once a person gets that, truly gets that, and leaps, I have seen miracles happen. People have been taught to not look within themselves. They're taught to look outside of themselves for answers. So that the natural instincts as a child can be shut down. You don't feel like that. A child feels like some way, somebody says, no, you don't. So if there's enough of that, the child is going to start believing no longer in him or herself. And when that child grows up and goes out into the world, that person is never going to feel quite fully happy, because they're looking outside of themselves. So that's where it usually begins. I'm going to liken this to an analogy. We're in a river. We're floating along, we're streaming along, and then we hit patches of muddy waters. And that's what's being thrown into the waters by the personal desires of people, the personal wants of people, of what they want, much of what they're not entitled to or believe they should have been given. And much more than that, well beyond that, too. And so they keep throwing rubble and the debris in the water, so to speak. So it makes these energetics rough going. My life's mission. To do and be all that I am given to do, that I am, to help all. In whatever way, shape, and form that I'm given unconditionally. I stand ready to step in unconditionally as I am called to do that.